So, breaking Forest transfer news. A deal between Forest and Chelsea for Delap is pretty damn close. Welcome to your transfer news. Hi guys, hope you're doing well and welcome to your latest breaking Forest transfer news. Coming up, we're going to be talking about Liam Delap, not Rory Delap, his dad, as I like to keep calling him. And we'll tell you what the latest breaking news on it is. So make sure you've liked, make sure you're subscribed. Let me know how you feel about Liam Delap in the comments down below. And if you want some more exclusive videos, there's another video out on Patreon now on a striker, an Erling Haaland, that Forest are looking to sign as well. So check that out. You can scan the QR code or click on the link in the comments below. Okay, so I was literally dropping my daughter and my niece off. And then suddenly I'm just getting do on my phone. It's all from the Chelsea lot saying thank you. I don't even need to open the messages to see what they are. I haven't even opened the messages yet. I know what it was going to be. And yes, there's been some links now, strong links to Liam Delap. Now, initially, when I looked at it, I was like, really? It was Alex Crook that had initially broke this story. Even though he's claiming, let me read you what he said here. Where is this idiot? Who I don't rate at all. He says, exclusive, Forest are closing in on a move for Chelsea striker Liam Delap. The end. And that's all he said. That was then rehashed out by Ben Jacobs with a handshake saying Alex Crook came up with a story. I'm like, yo, how's this exclusive? We've been talking about Delap for the last 3 or so weeks. But then Florian Plettenberg, I gotta get my teeth in. He's backed this up. He says, breaking, understand Forest are close to agreeing a deal with Chelsea for Liam Delap. Advanced negotiations between the clubs are taking place. Forest are aware of his personal terms and do not expect any issues on that front should an agreement with Chelsea be reached. The 23-year-old striker is ready to undergo his medical. So, Plettenberg, for me, is very reliable. He's had that whole beef with Romano over the summer. You know what? He ended up being the right one when it came to that one. I think it was for Diamande going to Real Madrid. Now, what does all this mean? And there are some elephants in the room that we need to discuss, especially towards me, but we'll come on to those in a second. Liam Delap has not been put into the Chelsea squad. They're playing Fulham tonight. He's had his number 9 taken away from him. I think I mentioned it in the earlier video. By the way, you're all welcome. Me kicking off at Marinakis, and suddenly we're getting some business moving. He will be very easily convinced to come to Forest. It's no big deal. Forest are a bigger club than Chelsea anyway. I remember back in the 90s, Chelsea didn't even have a full stadium. Their stand was like 3-sided. That's how little history Chelsea have. That's the thing with Chelsea. They're not that club that they think they are. They got a bit of oil money from Abramovich, and suddenly they think, oh, look at us, we're amazing. Well, Chelsea, you're playing 1 game a week. How good are you, really? And they parade a Champions of the World badge for winning a friendly competition last summer. Tells you all you need to know about Chelsea. So him leaving Chelsea, even if Chelsea still wanted to keep him, Forest would have the pull over Liam Delap anyway. Now, on top of that as well, you've heard about his wages. Apparently, he's on 100k according to Ant. I don't know how true that is. I don't know what his wages are. Wages are not a problem for Forest right now because we're flush with money. Okay, we've got the Elliot Anderson money. It's all there. We're swimming in it. Marinakis, dives into it in the morning along with his other millions. Money isn't a problem for this deal. But this deal will be negotiated down because Chelsea are not in a strong position here. They've already bomb squadded him. They've already said he needs to leave. He's come to peace with the fact that he's not going to play at Chelsea. Chelsea started this summer by talking about 50 million for Liam Delap. And now it's come down to 40, then 35. I wouldn't be surprised if they just break even on the 30 million. Now, do I rate Liam Delap? If you base him on what he's done at Chelsea, he is Liam de Crap, as I've called him all last year. And that is factually correct. 1 goal for Chelsea. I don't know how many appearances it is. In fact, I've probably got it here somewhere. He scored 1 goal for Chelsea in 28 appearances. Now, obviously, he didn't start them all. He had a little bit of an injury as well. But he was Liam de Crap at Chelsea. At Ipswich, he was a lot better. 37 games, 12 goals. In a system that suited his style differently. So I feel I'm well justified in calling him Liam Delap at Chelsea. However, I said at the start of the summer, and I've got the receipts, that I would take Liam Delap at Forest. Why? Because he needs to be in a system that suits his strengths. He's not a Messi. He's not going to pick the ball up and dribble it from the halfway line and bang it top bins or anything like that. He's not an Mbappe. He's not a Haaland in terms of the way he's going to score goals. Where Liam Delap thrives is where he's got space to run into. Space as a striker. I think he can finish and he will work. On top of that as well, Chelsea have been a cancer for the last few years for footballers' careers. Look what they did with Nkunku. Nkunku was quality before he went to Chelsea. Look what they've done with Liam Delap. Look what they've done with many other players who just go there and flop. And look how they tied him down to these dumb contracts. They're run by stupid ownership and who, by the way, Chelsea fans are trying to get out. But they can't do it themselves. Whenever they protest, they have to get their big sisters, Strasbourg, to come across to London to help them with protests. So don't take any notice of what he's done at Chelsea. That's not the barometer to measure him with. Because Chelsea are a banter club. Let's be real right now. They finished 10th in the league last season after spending stupid amounts of money, after selling hotels, after selling their women's team, after self-confessing at the police station to the murders they've committed, after they've had sanctions as well from UEFA for 2 seasons running now, suspended sentences and all this crap. This is not a club that you decide the standards of a player on at all. You could even look at Disasi, who was crap at Chelsea. He went to West Ham and actually looked quite good last season. So don't take Chelsea as the barometer. And on top of that, if you don't believe me, I have receipts. I said on Grumpy Old Reds at the start of the summer, I would take him. In fact, I'll run a little clip for you now as proof. Shall I chuck you guys out a name and don't shoot me down? Liam Delap.
No, not for me.
Oh my God. I was just thinking him, because I was thinking former Ipswich players. I couldn't think of his name. Yes,
Championship player at best, in my opinion.
No.
I think he worked at Forest. I hear it. He's been terrible at Chelsea. But would anyone in the chat take him? Are you saying you take him?
Yes, I'm saying yes, because I was trying to think of his name when you bloody said his name. I was thinking former Ipswich player. What's his name? But yes, I would. Yes, I would.
Yeah.
So all of this comes down to me 2 things when it comes to Liam Delap. One, he's the kind of player who needs a change. Secondly, price tag. Price tag for me, even if we paid £40 million for Liam Delap, a striker who's English and homegrown and helps us with our quota, is very, very beneficial. £40 million for any striker in this day and age is cheap money, okay? And he's one who scored 13 goals in the Premier League in the last 2 seasons. So he can find the back of the net. Even if he was to flop at Forest, it doesn't matter. We haven't over-invested in him. That's the key thing here, okay? So that's why I'm not against this one. Now, does he come with risks? Of course he does. Because you got to, as much as I've just told you about how crap Chelsea are, you still can't overlook the fact that he could have shone out in that team, for example, but didn't. So, but also what I will add is their fan base was so toxic towards him that how's he going to thrive in that kind of environment? And their managers were crap as well. And we've got a better manager than they currently have or had last season. And you take your pick from whichever of the 300 managers they had last season. You had Dan Potts there. You had Matisse there. They were literally hiring YouTubers as managers last season. So I am for this one. I think a fair price would be 30 plus 5 in add-ons, something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if Marinakis gets it cheaper than what they actually bought him for, which, just to remind you, was 30 million. Because that was his release clause from Ipswich. And I wouldn't be surprised. Last time we did business with Chelsea, we took Callum Hudson-Odoi off them, who was previously worth 70 million. We picked him up for 3.5 million. So don't be surprised if Marinakis gets a good price here. So look, this is developing. The other thing to talk about was what Plettenberg said as well. He said the 23-year-old is ready to undergo his medical. So for me, what that says is as soon as the clubs come to an agreement on the price, then he will be shipped on his way and a medical will be done very quickly. Forest have facilities in London. He could just come straight up the M1, get it done in Nottingham. It's not a long one that needs to be done. So I'm for this one, but I want to know how you guys are feeling. Would you take Delap at Forest? I would, Ez would, Rob would. Ant thinks he's a championship player, as you saw in the clip. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. So make sure you like, make sure you're subscribed. If you want to support us further and get some exclusive videos, there's plenty there on Patreon for you to get your teeth into. And we'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.